live session on carbon footprint. So, in very general language, how do we understand what we mean by carbon footprint? It is actually the amount of carbon dioxide and methane gas released by each human being. And why it is important? Because the gases like carbon dioxide, methane, that helps in increasing the global temperature. That is, those are the greenhouse gases. So since greenhouse gases are creating the global warming and climate change, that is why the release of those gases are important, significant, and each human being, they contribute these gases by various activities in their daily life. And some people, they release it less, while others, they release a lot of greenhouse gases. So like, I am watering, I have a garden in my house. This is one such activity which is having negative impact on the carbon release, because these plants, they do not release carbon, but just the opposite. They take the absorb the carbon from the atmosphere, and oxygen is released. This is one reason that why we should make our environment more greener. Greenery should be there in our environment. And there is another activity. I'm discussing about the ways of release, like absorbing the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. That is, how the carbon footprint could be reduced. How we can reduce the carbon footprint is by growing more green trees, more greenery in our environment. And here actually I have got 3 recycling manure vegetable waste bin. These are recycling the waste, that is a vegetable compost. So they are recycling, helping in recycling the carbon. Whatever vegetables or fruits we have eaten, those are composted here. So this is a way of reducing our carbon footprint. If somebody asks that how we can reduce our carbon footprint, is by having more greenery. Trees and plants, they help in the process of, they conduct the process of photosynthesis, and that is how carbon is absorbed from the atmosphere, and that reduces the greenhouse effect. Green plants, they help in reducing. That is why the carbon footprint become lesser. Now I also want to discuss how the carbon footprint is increase, what and all are the activities which increases our carbon footprint. So starting from the electrical appliances we have in our house, everybody must be having various electrical appliances. Then we must be having vehicles also. These are not our vehicle, but then we have our vehicle. So the vehicles, they release carbon dioxide, and that helps in increasing the carbon footprint. There are more activities, like if somebody moves travels in flight, so that releases means more of like expensive fuel are burned, so more. There is a way that we can even count our carbon footprint. Let me let me complete it. So there are various activities like both increasing and decreasing. For example, uh, the direct release is obviously through the vehicular release, and also our lifestyle, because our lifestyle such as the clothes we wear, the food we eat, and the activities we do, that also helps in releasing more of carbon dioxide, or it could even release in methane. Now in between these two gases, that is methane and carbon dioxide, methane is having more effect on the global warming. That is why the methane release is more harmful. Now there are various activities in our lifestyle which adds to the indirect release of more of methane. So uh, there means various activities are there, starting from having the meat and milk product. So meat and milk product would add to more of like cattle rearing. So cattle rearing, cattle's the stool they produce, that releases a lot of methane. So obviously that would be having more of like methane release to the atmosphere, and more methane release would be having more of greenhouse effect. So that is an indirect effect of emission. Our lifestyle, then if we are like everybody would be having electrical appliances, so electrical appliances also uh, leads to the indirect release of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So like washing machine or air conditioner we do not have, but so those electrical appliances, more of electrical appliances would release more of greenhouse gases, more of carbon release into the atmosphere, and that is why, that is how the carbon footprint becomes more. Now if we go for the analysis of various people, various places, various countries, then we will know that the less developed countries like the African countries and some Asian countries also, there the carbon footprint is really very less as compared to the more developed countries, Western countries, Europe. So there, Europe and America, so there the carbon footprint is really very big. Those people are releasing more of carbon dioxide and methane into the atmosphere as compared to the less developed countries of Asia and Africa. So that is a big difference uh, in the case of carbon footprint, because it is a global phenomenon. We cannot separate the atmosphere for particular country, for this country or this nation, this continent it is different, and for others it will be different. That is not the case. Whenever the change is there, everybody would be having the resultant, like we are having the climate change. So uh, even though people who have not contributed to global warming and climate change, then also we are, means they are uh, suffering. I am sure that there are people who are having lesser carbon footprint than me because I am using electrical appliances and I move in vehicles also. So definitely there is a carbon footprint of me also, and I should be aware of that. Switching off the lights and fans after moving out of the room, that is important. Now, importance, sorry. Let me show some more ways of reducing the carbon footprint, because we, like, one way is to have more trees and plants in our environment. If I am helping grow trees and plants, having more greenery, and since another way is to recycle the manures, vegetable compost, so this also helps in reducing my carbon footprint. And yet another way, like moving in vehicle add a lot of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. So if you all also believe in moving in bicycles, you know, this is my younger brother's bicycle. So if we have bicycles and we try to move in bicycles for our transportation, then of course the carbon footprint would be decreased. And another way of reducing our carbon footprint is by going walking. What to whatever extent is possible for me, I always go by walking. And this I started since my PhD time as a research scholar in Assam University, Silchar. So since my research work is also related with global warming and climate change, carbon sequestration, so I started this practice of walking, going, traveling by walking. So that is one way of reducing. Means, of course, the long distances one has to go by like buses, trains, or planes also. But the shorter distance we can obviously go by walking. So that is one such way of reducing our carbon footprint. And why we are reducing? Because so that the global warming is reduced. If the global warming keeps on increasing, then what will be the resultant? In our future, the temperature would be more higher, there would be more changes, more melting of the ice caps, rising of sea level, more of tsunami would be there, more landslide, flood. We have seen in today's time all over the world the effect of climate change is very much visible. So every human being needs to think about their carbon footprint, needs to think about the environment, global warming and climate change. So ecological footprint or carbon footprint means the amount of effect human beings, I'm a human being, the amount of impact I am producing on my environment. So that is the essence or importance of ecological footprint or carbon footprint. These topics are less discussed in today's like the general people. There are many such topics that everybody is aware of, but I am sure that everybody, means whoever knows about like the different kind of innovation or the fashion, they are not aware of the carbon footprint, ecological footprint, global warming and the climate change. Those are more important than any kind of fashion or any kind of newer things, newer technologies. Only if our environment is there, our biosphere is there, then only we can think of making new innovation. But if the like the air is polluted, the water is polluted, how can we think of living life on this planet? Thinking of reducing our carbon footprint is so important. I will try to make shorts also, short video reflecting about our carbon footprint. And thank you for joining me here today for this discussion on carbon footprint. And please be sure that not just you live in this earth a very beautiful life, but there are generations which are coming, future generation, they also need to survive. So we can of course think about them getting having a lavish life, having lots getting married and fulfilling your dreams, going to various places, enjoying life is very much a human behavior. But thinking about the future generation is also a human behavior. If we do not think about the future generation, if I cannot give a pollution free environment to my children, what else can I give? That is the greatest gift from a parent or from a successful human being on this earth. This is my belief. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Bye-bye.